One of my favorite terminal-based applications of all time is a program called cmatrix. I install it on every machine I own. It's often running on one of my laptops behind me when I make my videos. It is great. It's basically a matrix kind of program. Well, today I found a better alternative to cmatrix called Unimatrix. Let's see it in action. Well, that looks good. Well, I can hear Keanu Reeves right now. Whoa. So what exactly is Unimatrix? Let's check out their GitHub page. On their GitHub page, of course, the most important part of this is it's free and open source software licensed under the GPL3. It is a Python application. How do you get it installed? Well, it's a Python application, so typically you can just install it with pip. This command right here should install it on any Linux distribution out there. You could, of course, just build it from source as well. You could just git clone this particular GitHub repository and build it yourself. If you're running an Arch-based Linux distribution like I am, I found it in the AUR. That works just fine as well. So you do need to understand that for everything to look right in Unimatrix, it's going to depend somewhat on whatever terminal emulator you choose to run it in. Also, you do need to have the appropriate fonts installed for Unimatrix to look just right, because Unimatrix has a few different flags you can give it. That it has some different modes. So the default one is very authentic to the movie, right? You see all those Japanese characters. Now the Japanese fonts, that really gives it that authentic Matrix movie kind of look, just like the movie. And that's kind of what I wanted and why I was taking a look at Unimatrix. But you do have to have some Japanese fonts installed on your system to get this kind of effect. Now it also includes some other modes such as this Unicode mode, which is basically like the Matrix, but it's all emojis, right? Which is kind of neat. It also includes like a Klingon flag too, if you have the Klingon font installed, which is kind of neat. If you're a Star Trek fan, myself, I personally love Star Trek. I'm a big fan of really all of the Star Trek series. So this is actually kind of neat, and it has a lot of options. Let's play with it a little bit and see what we can do. So I pulled up a terminal here, and this is the Termite terminal emulator. So Termite renders all the Unimatrix fonts just beautifully. That's why I chose it. Now, if you just run Unimatrix without giving it any flags, you get that authentic kind of movie-like Matrix with all the Japanese characters and everything, and it looks really good. I mean, this is really sexy. Of course, I've got it zoomed in a little bit so you can see some of the fonts, but it looks like all the fonts render just fine. I don't see anything that's not rendering. Typically, when you have problems with certain Unicode fonts, you'll get that like rectangle, the character appearing on the screen. I don't see anything that's not rendering correctly as far as Japanese fonts, so this is good. So let's quit out of Unimatrix and see what kind of options we have for Unimatrix. Let's check out the man page. That's usually the best way to get information about any program you install on a Linux system, is just read the manual page. So man Unimatrix returns nothing. It says no manual entry for Unimatrix. They didn't bother to write a man page. That kind of sucks. Maybe they use the help flag. Many programs also have a help flag you can give it. So if I type Unimatrix space -- help, oftentimes that will return basically your man page. All right, and that did. So this is basically our man page. And what kind of flags can we give it? Well, we can give it flags for asynchronous, all bold. We can specify color, specify background color, specify the speed, I guess, that it moves. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can specify whether you want everything to be lowercase or uppercase. Do you want to use the Cyrillic alphabet in with the matrix? Do you want to include the Greek alphabet, the Japanese alphabet, Klingon, Roman numerals? I don't know why you would do Roman numerals. That's kind of odd. We may check that out. So let's play a little bit with some of the flags. So we quit out of the man page. Let's play with this a little bit. So some of the flags that we can give it, you have to invoke this flag here, -L, which is for character list, is what it's short for. And then the character list, we could do things like it mentioned capital A for uppercase. Now all the characters are uppercase. That's kind of cool. Q to quit. We could do Let's see what else we had. We had C for lowercase Cyrillic. So this is the Cyrillic alphabet in lowercase. Of course, we could do capital C, I believe, for the capitalized Cyrillic alphabet. And of course, you could combine some of this stuff. You could do the uppercase, typical Roman alphabet, and the uppercase Cyrillic alphabet mixed together. And you see, you get a little bit of a mixture of both alphabet systems. Now, if you really wanted to get fancy, you could do something like uppercase alphabet, uppercase Cyrillic alphabet. How about the lowercase Greek alphabet? How about the Japanese katakana alphabet, which gives you the Japanese characters? We could do P for Klingon. I don't have the Klingon font installed. It's not going to do anything. It's kind of pointless to add that. And E for emojis. And there you go. So we get a little bit of everything. I got smiley faces and Japanese fonts and flowers and Cyrillic and Greek. So is there any real purpose, any real use for such a program like Unimatrix or cmatrix behind me? By the way, Unimatrix is based on cmatrix. I want to throw that out there. So it is just a better an improved cmatrix. Well, what is the purpose? Well, the purpose is it looks cool. That's all it is. It's just something cool to run in a terminal to impress your friends, make them think maybe you're smarter than you really are, make it seem like you're a legit hacker when you really don't have those skills. And that's why I run it. That's why it's always running on the laptop behind me. Plus, I make videos. It looks cool. The chicks dig it too, so. Before I go, I do have to thank a few special people. Handsome Chris, the other Chris, Douglas, Dylan, Jack, Leor, Mitchell, Philip, Rob, Robert, Tony, and Willie. They are the producers of the show, my highest tiered patrons over on Patreon. Without those guys, today's video about Unimatrix would not have been possible. The show is also brought to you by that list of names you see on the screen that help support my work over on Patreon. Without each and every one of those ladies and gentlemen, again, the show would not be possible. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider doing so. You'll find me at DistroTube over on Patreon. Alright guys, peace.